So you're thinking about moving to Fate, Texas, but you want to know everything there is to know about Fate, the good, the bad, the pros and the cons, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. Now, I've lived in Fate, Texas since 2007, and a lot has changed since I moved out here. Some of it good, and then some of it, well, not so good. And so let's go ahead and get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the Dallas and surrounding areas, just like Fate, Texas, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, tap the bell so you can be the first to receive notifications every time we drop a new video, just like we are on Fate, Texas. My name is Delisa Lipinski and I get calls from people just like you every single day. So whether you're looking to make a move in 9 days or 9 months, go ahead and shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email, or you can even book an appointment online because all of our contact information is in the description. We would be happy to help you make a smooth move to Dallas and the surrounding suburbs, just like Fate, Texas. This is actually one of the reasons that it brought me out here to Fate, and that was the community atmosphere. Fate really does offer a very tight-knit community. We have so many things that are community events. We have Celebrate Fate. There are sip-in shops. There is what we call the Fate Food Hall. It's like our food truck court where they have vendor market. There are St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo. There's the Christmas lighting tree and the carolers. So Fate really does have strong, vibrant community feel that is ideal for family or for just those that are seeking really a sense of belonging. Now, when I moved out to Fate, we didn't have we're just shy of 5,000 residents, and we're up to 28,000 now. And even with that extensive growth, you still get that real strong sense of community, that small town feel. So that actually is going to bring me into pro number 2, and that is the growth potential. Now, this area is experiencing significant growth. Just like I said, in 2007, we had just shy of 5,000 people. Now we're at around 28,000 people, and Fate is actually only 12 square miles. So we've got new housing developments and businesses that are cropping up. With that growth and that potential, it does mean that we're bringing in new businesses, new dining. We have a grocery store, finally. Now we don't have to go into Rockwall or to Roy City, but we've got our own grocery store. So the Economic Development Committee is really focused on making sure that we bring in business to support the growth of the population. Okay, so let's talk about pro number 3, and that's going to be accessibility. Now, Fate is close to Dallas. It's about 28 miles. And if you were to go into Dallas, depending upon the time of day, what the weather was like, you're going to look at about a 45-minute commute. But it is also easily accessible to other areas such as Rockwall, Plano, Richardson, because you can get right on the George Bush or go right into I-30. Now, if you're looking to go in for work, I will tell you that sometimes in the morning, that traffic, that commute can be a little bit longer because if there is a wreck on the I-30 bridge, well, it's going to shut it down at least for a little bit. Now, we do have the I-30 expansion that's going on right now where they are adding 2 lanes going both directions. That is going to help alleviate some of that congestion. It is slated to be completed at the end of 2024. Now, I know how TxDOT works, and I'll be real honest with you, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think it's going to be sometime into 2025, just because as I see the progress that they're they're making on a daily basis, I think it's probably a little more realistic that it's 2025 and not into 2024. Okay, so now let's talk about pro number 4, and that is the schools. Fate actually does not have its own school system. The schools for Fate is really split almost down the middle, where half of Fate will attend Rockwall ISD and half will attend Royce City ISD, and depending upon which area you're in Fate that you live. Now, according to niche.com, Rockwall schools receive a rating of A, and Royce City schools do receive a rating of B+. And depending upon which area and which subdivision you live in Fate, you may even have an elementary and a middle school located right there in your subdivision. Now, the high schools is a little different story, and that's going to be a little bit of a commute as well. It will take you about 20 minutes to get to either Royce City High School, which is on the east side of Royce City, or it will take you about 20 minutes to get to Rockwall High School, which is actually closer, but you've got the traffic going into Rockwall, people that are commuting, say, from Royce City, from Greenville, that are commuting into Dallas. So parents, just note that if you've got a teenager that are driving, it's going to be mostly freeway to get to both of the high schools. And if you are driving your kiddos to school, then just know that it's going to be about a 20-minute drive, and then you got to get through the school traffic, the drop-off lines to get them there. So that is a pro, is the good schools. The con, once again, is kind of that commute into the high schools. Now, this was another thing that actually brought me to Fate as well, is the safety of the community. Now, just recently, SafeWise.com had rated the 6th safest city in the state of Texas. Now, when I originally moved out here in 2007, Fate didn't even have a police department. It was volunteer fire department, and the law enforcement was served through the Rockwall County Sheriff's Department. Now, those guys did an amazing job, but as you can imagine, being a little bit further out, the response times were a little bit slower. Fate does now have its own Department of Public Safety. And those guys and women are amazing. They are very actively involved in our community when we do the National Night Out for the crime prevention. The officers are patrolling the streets and stopping by and visiting with the neighborhood groups that are having parties or block parties. The chief of police and many of the officers that serve our community also live in the community. So they are very vested in making sure that Safe is a very safe community. You know, and then the other thing is almost all of the gentlemen and the women that work there are dual certified, both with their fire and their law enforcement. So they can go either way. Fate is a very safe city, even with our growth and expansion. Okay, so let's now dig into the cons. And the first one, I guess it just really kind of depends on what lifestyle you're looking for. But the first con is going to be the limited amenities. Because it's a smaller town, Fate itself really doesn't have a ton of shops, restaurants, activities, and things to do, such as bowling or movie theaters. In order to really go and experience the restaurants, the shopping, you're going to either have to go into Rockwall or go into Dallas or some of the larger cities that are around. Now, once again, it's still very convenient to get to them because you've got I-30 that will take you into the Dallas-Garland area. You've got George Bush that will take you into Plano and Richardson. And really, you can get most of those places within 30, 40 minutes. But they do have very limited amenities. And if you're looking for a nightlife, Fate's definitely not going to be it. Our nightlife consists of, on a Friday or a Saturday, down at the downtown little square, we've got acoustic live music. But if you're wanting to go out to a nightclub, you're going to either go into the Dallas or larger areas. But we do have Southern Junction, which is about 10 minutes from here. It's technically in Royce City. So if you wanted to go country western dance, see a country western band, Southern Junction is right here. I promise you, if you talk to anybody that lives in this area, they are going to tell you the very first con that they think of, so this is going to make our list as number 2, is the traffic. Now, Fate has grown exponentially and traffic congestion has certainly gotten worse. We are really lacking behind in the infrastructure, which is not unusual whenever you have developments going in, and the roads can get very congested. For example, 66 is just one lane each way. Well, if there's a wreck on I-30, everybody that's coming to Fate or Royce City is gonna hop onto 66, and so you're gonna experience a lot of traffic. 30 is doing the expansion, and that should alleviate it. But once again, I really don't think that's going to be done at least until 2025. If you're looking at a commute time into Dallas for work, you're going to look at least a 45-minute commute. If you're looking to do a commute into the Plano area, it's probably going to be about the same. So traffic is definitely one of the bigger issues that we experience here in Fate and in general in Rockwall County because of the significant growth. All right, so con number 3, and that is rising property taxes. Rockwall County has seen a significant increase in property taxes because our property values have increased so much. Now, that is a positive in that as a homeowner, you are gaining appreciation in your property. Texas is known to historically have higher property taxes than a lot of other areas in the country. But another thing that you need to consider when you're moving out to Fate is what we call a MUD tax, which is Municipal Utility District, or a PID, which is a Property Improvement Development. So those are additional assessments that are added to the property taxes. The MUD tax is a tax that is assessed to homeowners that helps build out the infrastructure. This is not unusual to see in rural areas that are beginning to develop. So it helps build the streets, having the water and the sewer lines that are set. The PID, or the Property Improvement District, is essentially the same thing, except for it is an assessment that is assessed by the developer. And the timelines on that really vary, but I can promise you, you're gonna look at having those assessed for a good 15, 20 years. Once it gets built out, once it gets developed, just like as any other city, then there's the potential for those taxes to be dropped. But I don't anticipate that it's gonna happen anytime soon. So just know that you're going to be looking at most likely a MUD or a PID in most of the subdivisions that are being built here in Fate. Some of the older areas, or if you're getting out in the rural where there have acre, 2-acre lots, that you don't typically have a MUD or a PID, but that was usually because you're on a septic tank system and therefore you didn't have to worry about the water and then the sewer system. So those are our pros and our cons for living in Fate. Now, when I talked to my neighbors and I was trying to talk with them to see what some of their pros and their cons were, they really came up with the exact same things. And once again, that biggest con is going to be the traffic, simply because it is a rapidly growing and developing area. Now, I love it in Fate. I've been here for 17 years and it is a slower lifestyle. However, it is still very conveniently located to restaurants, to shopping, to retail. And we're right here, 10, 15 minutes from Lake Raid Hubbard. We do love the lake life. As a matter of fact, on most Sundays, you'll be able to catch us out on the boat, just having a nice, enjoyable Sunday afternoon. So I hope you found this information helpful in learning the pros and the cons, the good and the bad of Fate, Texas. Make sure you check out our vlog tour where we're going to take a tour of different homes that are available in the Fate area. And we also have done a new construction tour. So make sure you check those out. And as always, if you live in the area and you have a pro or a con that we didn't mention or talk about, go ahead and drop a comment below and let us know what we missed.